the Los Angeles Regional Consortium, also known as LARC, which represents 19 community colleges across the Los Angeles region. I also have the pleasure of co-leading the LARC AI Task Force with Chair and Assistant Vice President of LARC, Dr. Narne McKeegan. Today's AI professional development session, Tools for Educators, AI in Healthcare Careers, is made possible through our partnership with the Los Angeles County Office of Education, also known as LACO, and the coordination and vision of LARC's AI Task Force. Leading today's session is Eduvator's Technical Director, Dr. Raina Walzinger, and Professor and Instructional Technology Trainer, Linda Delzite, who will provide hands-on opportunities so you can explore AI-powered tools and approaches to weave AI technology into your instruction. You will find today's professional development session and more in the LARC AI Learning Library, and we'll drop the link in the chat. And with that, I turn it over to Eduvators to get today's professional development started.
Thank you so much, Judy, and thanks again for having us. So it's okay, I'm going to screen share my stuff over here. So good morning, everybody. I'm really excited about doing this particular session, as health has been a large part of my career, and I've been working in this area for most of my life. And so I'm going to introduce ourselves for a second, but first we'd like to find out a little bit about all of you. So if you can put your name and role and your department area and experience level in the chat, that would be awesome. And then we'll do introductions. And we can tailor it. And along the way, if you want to unmute and join in, have questions, anything, we're both professors, so really happy to interact the entire time with everybody. Thanks, Judy. Kevin. All right, well, we're waiting for those. Yeah, if you just put them in the chat, that'd be great. And then we have, we'd love to know how much AI that you do, so we know how to cater this presentation as well. So you never used it or a few times or regularly, that'd be great. Good morning, Erin and Laura. Pharmacology. Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. Dental hygiene. Great. So while you're doing that, we'll introduce ourselves. So I'll start with me. My name is Dr. Raina Walzinger, and I've been here with LARC doing these sessions on AI. Currently, I'm teaching 4 rotating classes on AI and technology. And I started out as a biomedical engineer. I was designing cardiac catheters for Baxter, which is now Edwards Lifesciences, which now is Becton Dickinson, and worked with Dr. Swan and Gans doing that. So I have a lot of patents in that area, and worked in surgery for both the VA and UCSD, and for Edwards, doing colon cancer detection kits and cardiac catheterization design. And then I started out actually in my entire career as a CNA, which led me to biomedical engineering. Other than that, so teaching and working with Eduvators with Linda and our other partner, Marcy, our managing director, and that's mostly about me. So go ahead, Linda.
Hi, good morning. I recognize some of the names in here that I've worked with you in the past, and it's nice to see you here. So I have been teaching California Community College for almost 50 years, and I've been working with distance education and AR, VR, and just helping faculty integrate technology. And so I'm really happy to be here and share some of the things that we've been working on with Eduvators.
Linda.
Okay, so we're going to be doing several things in here. We're going to be talking about universal AI competencies. how we're going to prepare students for those AI changes, and how to incorporate some of these AI tools in your teaching, advising, daily workflows, and give you some hands-on demonstrations and practice with AI tools that you can use immediately. So we have a workshop resource folder, and I'm dropping that into the chat now. So most of the handouts that we have are in that folder, and then we'll be dropping in more chats as we go along here this morning.
Right, and I believe Judy will be posting these as well in the Lark library that we have. So these are the pathway areas that we're doing in the next few weeks, actually next couple of months. So today concentrating on healthcare, and it's an interesting field because there's areas where AI is helpful and areas where it's not. So we hope to talk with all of you about that today. So skills that are needed now, this is what this is about. One of the main things that's going on, and we all know, is it's infiltrating like our equipment and our software and a lot of things. And so the employer groups that we work with all say that, they want people to know how to use some basic AI skills. And so some of the stuff we're going to show you today and where we see it in healthcare. And we don't really know in the next 5 years, by 2030, I've heard all kinds of things about employees knowing AI up until AI is replacing certain jobs. In healthcare, it's different because healthcare is an early adopter, especially in like surgery and radiology. And so which I think is great because it's developed in healthcare as a really helpful tool in the areas where it's in. And so it's pretty defined in healthcare so far. So we always put this up there, why use AI? So especially in healthcare, it's not replacing people, but it's making things better. It's making things better for patient outcomes for some of the stuff as far as especially surgery, radiology, like I mentioned. It gives you some time back. We find that here at Eduvators. I find that definitely in my teaching that I can do, for example, 18 Canvas modules faster than I did before, knowing the material that I need, and I can update it every single week, which is awesome. What I just personally always say is the best part of my job is getting to know my students, so I don't use it for grading or for answering discussion posts and things like that, where that's community builders between me and my students. I'm sure Linda has the similar experience with that.
Yeah, I just saw somebody post in a chat this week that they have created a play lab to grade their students' work. We went, it's not what it's for.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a 5-minute starter kit. I'm dropping that link into the chat for you this morning, and it has some immediate free to use tools. So there's Copilot in here and there's ChatGPT links. And if you're working with faculty who are a little nervous, just kind of want to dip their toes into it, they're not real advanced, here's some ideas that you can use. And these are 3 tools to start with, simple prompt formulas that work, and ready-to-made prompt that you can give. So again, we're all in different places in our communities, in our where our teachers are at, and every college has them in a wide range, from the naysayers to the advanced ones. So this is another toolkit to help you get started. Next slide.
Well, that's true. We are all in different places. Again, like Linda said, every college is different, and we have some different tools. And most of us are going to end up with the same free tools from the system. This is my Saddleback site, and I work at another district that doesn't have a one sign-on like this. But to get to sponsored sites that are paid for, you'll have to sign on somewhere through a single sign-on. We're rolling out through the state Gemini EDU, which is Gemini Pro. That's FERPA compliant, so it's got a couple changes in it. And that's through Google Workspace. So somewhere eventually you'll be able to probably go into Google Workspace and sign into your Gemini EDU. and all of our colleges in California are getting those, which is exciting. So it's rolled out, and I've been using it, and my students all get it too, which is pretty awesome. You can see some other ones there. Some schools have rolled out Adobe. It has a lot of AI stuff in it. And the other one that most of us have is Microsoft Copilot. And again, through single sign-on, it has the regular apps like PowerPoint and Word and Excel, OneDrive, but it also has a lot of AI things and creative tools that you can use with that. So this is what, just to show you what this looks like, it's a different kind of sign-on process than normal. Instead of just going to Gemini, at least for what I saw so far, you have to go into Google Workspace, and then click the 9 dots on the top right, and then find Gemini. And then when it goes to Gemini, it enters your Google EDU account. So theoretically, that should be rolling out to everybody pretty soon, if not already. Also in there, there's so much, it's all integrated now, Copilot and AI into your, into Word and everything in Google, it's all integrated and also in Copilot. So we're really lucky there. And here's what it looks like when you open Gemini EDU. If you haven't seen it before, you can see on the top, my initial, so that's my school account. We have all the tools except for making videos available, and we have Fast Thinking and Pro for the models. And then we have the ability to add inputs from Google Drive, from your files on your desktop, or from Notebook LM, which is awesome. So if you make a notebook, we'll go over this a little bit later, a notebook, for example, of your syllabus or things in your class, you can enter that and then generate content based on that. So it all connects together, but you do need to create a notebook in the school environment. And this is my school account for Microsoft, what it looks like. And by the way, you can pick dark or light mode. I just prefer dark mode. That's why it's all dark on these slides. And so we can make agents in here. There's a prompt coach. You can get to all the apps, which is right above my name on the left bottom. That's where all of the Microsoft Office apps move to, but you open it up and you can see them all. But that's the school environment. There's a little green check mark on the top right. That means it's a secure site, it's FERPA compliant, and all of your documents stay within the school site. And so that's your syllabus and all that is safe here, and nothing will be trained on it. So these are what we're going to have. This is going to be an interactive day, and you guys are going to be doing a bunch of stuff. So whatever you like to use today, and you can pick one or more than one, or let us know. These are some of the choices that you can use today: Gemini, Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, Notebook LM. So we'd like you, I think Lynn put that in the chat, to sign on to one of those. I'm going to be mostly using Gemini and ChatGPT during this, but I have all of those and a lot more if there's something that you want to see in any of these or one that's not listed. No problem.
Just on this, I train my students to go into their college email and then go into Copilot, which is what LACCD provides. El Camino does the same, and use it and show them how to be within that safe environment. So that's a good thing. I have a handout that I give my students, and you probably do too if you're using it and you want them to use just general stuff.
Yeah, I do the same thing because, especially Copilot, there's buttons everywhere. And so sometimes, you click a button and where did everything go? So I make little videos on how to get back to the start and find the apps and all that. So, and things have moved around a lot, so it can be confusing for students. So for teaching, we have a universal prompt folder, and this is something that I personally learned in industry, that you need to tell the LLM some basic information. So this is a good example on what you're teaching, what level, because you might be teaching, K-12, college, university, seniors, people in different languages or other countries, and then help me do whatever the task is. And then there's some really important information there about never sharing outside of the institution, things like student names, IDs. This is basic, stuff that we are used to. But remember, in language learning models, you don't want to share the same for protected information in those. And I know that's been violated. People put all kinds of stuff in there that you have to be really careful about. So still need de-identified data for LLMs. Okay, so we have a activity to start out with, and this would be for you on your whichever tool you're using that you teach, put what you teach and at the type of institutions. Show me 3 ways AI can help me save time with my teaching this week. Or if you're not teaching, if you're doing another job, just adjust it for whatever you're doing. Intermediate level would be add an element like a format or ask it to do a table or a spreadsheet or something. And then advanced would be to do this and then add additional context and refine it. So, which is what usually you end up doing. You make something and then you refine it a couple times. So, I'll give everybody a couple minutes to do this. And then if you want to share a post or something, that'd be great.
So I dropped some suggestions, some options into the chat that you can copy and paste, but then you can go ahead, make them specific to you.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Now, this first activity focuses on the teacher's role and teacher's use of AI. We'll talk about the student's use later.
All right. Anybody want to share out that you found in this little exercise? It's a little quiet, so I'll start over here. So for me, like so what I usually do is on actually in my back end, I have settings that say what I do, and there's settings you can add prompts in the back end, which is really helpful. So it has personal intelligence and it starts remembering about you. So I put what I'm teaching and what I do and all that. So I don't usually have to reprompt it, but I will do this. I am a prof teaching AI and tech college students. So it knows a lot about me, and you might see it in the answers. It's kind of personalized for responding to me. And oh, I have it on Pro, so and we have that in the EDU version, so it's thinking a little bit longer since I have it on Pro. If I had it on Fast, I'd probably already have my answer. But what it does is it uses more tokens and time, and it thinks a little bit longer. There we go. It says greeting me because I told it in my settings to do that, and then gave me some ideas on focusing on accessibility and responsible AI for my class. For teaching Gemini, and it gives me examples. So I could actually add that in on a little section of using AI, um, responsible AI for my class. So pretty great. I usually do these and read them and then revise from there. And then it takes me a couple times to do that. Anybody else? All right. Okay, so I'll move on. So we wanted you to share in the chat, so I'm still trying to get you guys to do that. Put anything in there that you found. Was it useful? Did this help you? Did you get additional? If you added information and you iterated, did the results improve? Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Taryn. So with AI, the issue is with especially high school. Oh, let's go back to Erin. How did you give it meta information? I'm going to let Linda talk about that. Meta information, you meaning like, Erin, can you expand on that?
Like you said, you had it in your profile. I don't see a profile.
Yeah. Let me go back to my Google. So in my, all of these have settings. Let's see, where did mine go? Oh, yeah, no, I'm in Gemini. So I got to find it again. That's my other thing.
I'm just curious what
that's
kind
annoying.
of information you gave it so you don't have to, that you find that you keep repeating over and over again. I mean, just the fact that if you want to make student materials or if you want to do curriculum design.
Yeah, so these are the things. So I have it remembering my chats. I've connected it to some other things like Canva and Photoshop and some things that I use for stuff in my classes. And then all this stuff match my writing style. So I can give it writing stuff. Even if as I'm doing work and I can just say, remember this, and I'll go, okay, I added it to your personal intelligence.
Okay, how did you get here again?
Oh, yeah. So it's hard to find because when I'm on Zoom, it's hiding it. On the very bottom left, there's settings and help in my Gemini. It's everything. ChatGPT has it too. Claude has it. They all have some settings somewhere. It's either the bottom left or top right usually. And you have to go into your settings. And I do this on everything, even my YouTube account. And I add personal information because otherwise I have to tell it every single time to do the things. Like maybe I don't want emojis, or maybe I do, or maybe I always want to have hashtags because I have it adding hashtags after my responses. So that you can keep adding as much as you want. And there's an add button. You can just start typing stuff in there. Or you can say, I'm always teaching these classes. Refer to my Google Drive for the syllabus information. So you can have it whatever you're referring to on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful. And actually, the champion of this stuff is YouTubers because they like put in paragraphs about themselves and hashtags and they go use this on everything I post, and that's how they're getting those giant numbers of views. So they kind of started this, and all the AI people apps kind of added that feature in.
Gemini will also remember a lot of that. And sometimes Gemini will direct you and tell you, go put it into here and click here to go to the settings. When you're doing the same thing over and over again, it remembers and it does a really good job about that.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really good question. And I'll open ChatGPT in a bit and show you where that is there as well. So, okay. So the issue that I see with students, I'm sure Linda, or you guys see the same thing, is especially coming from high school, they learn to use this in ways that are good and bad. So I kind of feel like it's our job to direct them to use it to think and not just get answers. And that's going to be a problem. It reminds me literally of when Facebook came out and people were using social media in a bad way and they had to relearn it. And that's the same thing with AI. So I always teach my students how to use it safe and responsibly. So This is an example prompt for helping your students think, not just get answers. I'm teaching for me AI and tech, students struggling with, let's say, logging in, how to approach this systematically and help students. So those are helpful things. And see, I'm going to mute one person. One of your, somebody in here's on. It reminds me of my class. I can't figure it out though. Anyways, if you have noise in the background, just mute for us. That'd be great. So the thing that we want to kind of improve cognitive thought and problem solving and not just, not think at all. So teaching students to how AI can provide logical connections that actually you can do more and add a lot more complexity within your reasoning, and learn how to iterate and use computer AI or other apps as a partner to be efficient and not as something to think for you.
Sheila has her hand up.
Yeah.
Sheila?
Hey, Sheila.
Hi, everyone. Rena, I was curious with your vast knowledge, and if you look at it from an instructor standpoint, what is there one big warning light that you would flash before a student? And is there one area where AI is really just something that we need to be careful about, that we need to be more thoughtful about? Or is there one specific, family of tasks that you kind of warn them to avoid?
That's
Does
a
that make
really
sense?
great, that's a
Thanks.
great question. I have some answers. You guys probably do too. So, um, the one thing is to not just trust it, and then to verify your sources or check into other language learning models. So the way and the reason is usually it's something missing in the prompt. So if you're asking a current question and you didn't put use today's news and search the internet on today's news or something like that, it'll make up an answer from yesteryear that's wrong. And also like psychology or medical stuff, if you're asking it stuff, you need to double check that. So what we usually do, everyone at Educators, we have 3 LLMs, and if we're doing something, we have it checked. We go through Google Notebook LM, we check stuff in Claude, we check it in Gemini. So we don't just trust everything. And students tend to not kind of realize that. And they'll use it for psychology questions and all kinds of things that may not give them good answers or may even be dangerous, in fact. So I always talk about that. And then also I teach my students to use the privacy mode because they all have a little button on there that you can where it won't save or train on your questions if you're doing anything private, to do that button, and also never ever put any financial private information in there. So for my older students, I say, yeah, you can look up the stock market stuff, but don't ever put anything privately about your bank accounts or anything like that. So in fact, my older students, we talk about security every time because they are super concerned about that. So it's like a daily topic for my classes. Anything else, Linda? I missed on
Now,
that.
just teaching your students how to use it correctly is a really big and important, because I feel that we've got this tool, we're teaching them to use it. We want them to use it so that they're ready for their job's going to expect them to know how to use it, but how to do it smartly.
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
that's a great question. I hope that answers a little bit of
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that I think that helps give instructors, those little warning signs in the back of their head to be mindful of when they're employing it, right?
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so this one, so there's some more quick start guides, and
Yeah.
we're giving you guys a lot of stuff here that will be really helpful that you can keep and refer to in your own work. And I think Linda's been posting the links.
Yeah, I'm dropping the links in now.
Yeah. So we
And
have,
some of these are in the folder we already gave you, but just because they're on here, we're going to give you the links.
yeah, and you can, I mean, these playbooks give you like the prompts and the order of things and a workflow that you can adopt for your own work. All right, power move number 1. I'll pass this one to Linda.
Okay, so we have a notebook LM, and let me go ahead and drop that into the chat for you. Let's see. And then I have another one that I did just for, let's see, here's the one that we use that's kind of polished. Whoops. I want to make sure that everybody gets this. Somebody messaged me personally, so it's, I hope,
Oh. Yeah, that
I hope
happens.
I got it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Power Moves with the notebook. Are you going to share the notebook, or do you want me to bring up the one that I did for EMT?
Up to you. I'm on the psychology one, but you can
Okay,
share.
go ahead and share the psychology one. So
Awesome.
Notebook LM is really kind of a cool product. You can upload your syllabus, you can upload your course outline. If you're doing standards across your discipline, you can upload, like EMT has the National Registry Standards, and you can just upload all these tools. You can ask it to go out and do OER searches. You can find OER tools, and then it brings them in. Then you get to pick, when it brings in tools, which ones you don't want. You just uncheck them after you go out and look at them. And then based on that, it will create in the center spot a kind of an introduction to your class, especially if you put up your syllabus and your course outline. Then you have tools in Studio where you can ask it to create a podcast. You can ask it to create a quiz. You can ask it to create flashcards, a quick video. My recommendation is when you do that, don't just click on the button because it'll go out to everything, but then to click on the pencil and give it a very small area that you want it to work on. An infographic for patient assessment, an infographic for this particular principle that you're working on. And the same with the podcast. Limit it to how long you want it to be. Slides, you can, again, limit it. So it does a job that saves you time. Now, my opinion on Notebook LM is that it's still developing. It doesn't give you quite the abilities I would like to see. I'd like to be able to move them, put them in a chronological order, turn them on and off, kind of like we do with Canvas resources. It's not quite there yet, but it's a developing tool. I think it's going to change by the month or the week, like all of AI. And it's good to go in and learn to use it and get your feet wet, because it can help you, especially if you're going into a class. You can prep something on the fly and go in, and there's a new topic that you want to use. And it's a quick resource that you can do. So I love Notebook LM. You can personalize it and refine it to your class. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, sure. You can also, what's great about Google is one of the reasons I like Gemini is everything is shareable. So if you're using Google Drive, it's kind of the same process. You get a link and you can share it privately or to people in your work group. Or so, for example, anybody at your college, you'd be able to share that link into.
And it's a way of doing some more OER at your college. And it's just within your group if you want it to be.
It's funny because I was teaching Google Workspace for next week, so I had it create the video about itself. I'm like, wait a minute, before I do this, why don't I just have it do that for me? So that was one of the things I did.
We do have another question in the chat
Yeah.
regarding limitations for Notebook.
Let's see.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Oh, limitations. Oh, that's the stuff you were just saying, Linda.
Yeah, I was going over that. You have a limit to what you can do, especially on the free version. If you create a video and then you don't like it, you might have to wait before you create another one. You can't move them up and down. It's going to limit to the resources, at least it should. But you still have to go in and verify. Just always verify what it brings up, because you're not exactly convinced it's perfect until you go through it. So don't assume it's perfect.
Yeah. Also, I don't think you have to still caption, like if you're doing videos, I believe, outside
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I've been doing. Okay.
I didn't see the chats. Thank you, Judy.
Thanks, Jorge. So, Power Move 5. So, this one, AI, do you want to do this one, Linda?
Go ahead. You've started.
This is on accessibility.
Oh, yeah, this is absolutely mine.
Yeah.
This is my area. I'm multitasking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
So I use Gemini a lot for doing accessibility and converting materials with teachers to make them accessible. So I can go into a PowerPoint that a teacher needs to convert. They don't have time. That's suddenly my job. And give it an image and ask it, number one, give me an alt tag that's less than 120 characters, so it's not flagged in Canvas as being too long, and give me a short description. And then it will do that. Now, I'm asking it to also do universal design for learning, and it helps with a focus on what's really important to that particular lesson. Can you switch slides? And we have a couple of examples. So here's one where instead of giving it a short description, I can use a caption that actually gives an equivalent of purpose for my students. Now, if you work in an area where you know you're never going to have a blind student, they might be in your class, but they're never going to work in industry as a blind student. For example, an electrician. You can start to move away from all of the long captions on videos and start to say, can you give me a caption that has an equivalent purpose to a short description? So here's the blood flow of the heart. You've got the diagram, and it gives you an alt tag, so you don't have to think quite so hard. And then you can actually ask it to give you a caption that's a universal design for learning that provides the equivalency purpose, because you don't have any blind students in class. You don't need a lot of these long descriptions. So thank you. Next one.
Yeah, I love this. The other thing, just really fast, if you want to, it's a little prompt tip. If you want to make this animated or realistic, looks like an inside human heart cross section, you can just add that to the prompt. And it'll make it the diagram how you want.
Okay. So this field, we teach CPR a lot. I teach CPR. So I can use a caption that says, focus on the recoil phrase or phase, the right side of the image. This is where the heart fills with blood. The AI caption was, this is where the capillaries refill for the heart, the coronary arteries. And I'm going, no, I don't think that's right. We want the heart to fill. And so I also have this short description. So I have an alt tag, a short description, and I have a caption as 3 examples of how AI will help to make your images correct. So we have to do this. And you're all aware of the April deadline. I'm assuming that we have to have all of our materials accessible, meet the standards. This is a ruling that's been in the making. And so we have an April deadline to get all of our materials done. So Gemini has rescued.
Or you're never going to make it.
Well, but AI has really, really helped.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Okay, so here's our next question. To what extent are you encouraging students to use AI in course activities? Okay, could be not at all. Are you doing some limited? Are you doing full integrated into your activities for what your students do? Are you encouraging them? Let me make sure that I get the chat out here so I can see. And while you're talking about how you're using AI in your course activities, I'll tell you how I'm really starting to use mine. Students, first of all, I tell them I want you to use AI, and I want you to use it AI in a safe way, in an ethical way, because those who know AI are going to get to keep their jobs. But in my area, I'm asking them to go out and do research. I'm asking them to share what research they got. I'm asking them to say, hey, where did AI go wrong? And teach them critical thinking skills. And then I do role playing. I have some role playing that I use with my first aid course. For example, which is a pre-EMT, and it's used for rad tech. It's used for kinesiology. A lot of students are taking this specific class. And so I have them in Play Lab. I have one where they are the rescuer and they don't know what their person has that they're coming on the scene to. And I tell AI, you're going to play one of these roles, and I give them the sudden illness. And they have to respond. They have to go through their sample. They have to go through their assessment very, very quickly and find out, and then when to call AI, when not to call AI. And then they go in a second Play Lab, they are playing the person who has an environmental condition. They've got heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Maybe they've got poisoning. And AI plays the person who's the rescuer, and they get a model of what they're doing. But students all come away going, this really helps me get ready. They gain confidence. They gain all of these scenarios that I couldn't give them in class time. So it's really a benefit for me. And I'm going to, when Rena takes over, I can share you some files that I prepped on role playing that can be used across the health discipline. But I really, really like it.
Yeah, and just to follow on, just really quickly, I trained the surgeon, the trauma teams at Orange Coast Memorial here, where I live, on doing different roles, like whether, you're receiving the paramedics, or you're doing the radio calls, or you're getting meds out of the cabinet, or the whole ER experience, and they're using goggles. So my job was to train them how to use that and then do the different scenarios with the lead doctor. So that's what's happening now in real life in hospitals.
So we're still waiting for you to come in and tell us how you use it, and I see some of it. So that's great. So I'm going to upload 4 documents. One is the simulation scenarios where I teach them, I give them prompts to go in and interact with AI. And then we have a follow-up. I also have them work in partners so that maybe in teams, one of them is observing what's happening. Now they can not only just use text, but they can put it onto their phones. And their phone is that person, and they're literally talking face to face, which gives it a very real-time situation that helps them. So I'm going to go ahead and upload those, and then some things for the teacher for evaluating. So Rena, you take it away. I know time is short.
There's just a question about the content. So we have documents for all of the numerous health programs across the district in these files. So you'll find everything in there. It's pretty extensive. In fact, it's the largest one we've done so far. Okay, so what AI ready means, here's some definitions from great sources like UNESCO, competencies, AI literacy, AI system fluency, data basics, AI verification in government. So those are things that I feel like as professors we're responsible for helping our students along, because that's what they're going to be doing in their life somewhere. Some universal skills with those, literacy. So what are the concepts? How do you iterate? What are the limitations, bias, risk, like I just talked about? Prompt crafting, what we just showed you, that you need certain things like who you are, where you are, what you're doing, when you're doing it, all of those things. The data fundamentals, AI fluencies, and so forth. Ethics and governance is one of the main things that, and security, safety and security are the main things that my students ask about every class. And so it's great that they're learning it from us rather than just going out and doing it wrong. There was a question about cheating. So, they're gonna, if you give them some guidance, and all of the student panels I've been on, and I've been on a lot, they're asking for guidance and frameworks for, it's a new concept, right? So it's like when you have a little kid and they're like, okay, why am I in timeout? Because this is supposed to happen. This is like how I feel like this is our job, to give them those frameworks to use this responsibly. If they cheat, then, as a cheat, meaning they're, riding with that, you can usually tell, and then, talk with them. That's something that we talked a lot about last year, and it seems to be getting better. People are understanding what to do and where to help students along. So here's a formula for good AI prompt for student learning. An example here. I'm working on a problem where I need to, let's say, do CPR. I tried this approach, but I got this error or result. I think the issue might be whatever the student thought up. I'm not sure. Can you help me understand where my thinking went wrong? This is a great one for learning. In fact, in all these tools, you can put it in learning mode and put this prompt in there, and it'll ask you more questions like, why, what do you think about this and what do you think about that, instead of just giving you an answer. And that's something I show students: use the learn mode instead of just the prompt mode, because it'll ask you more questions and then it'll help you think through and remember and learn. And that's what you do. You learn from mistakes. So this is it's an important one. So we have another activity. This one, put yourselves in the student's shoes. Use the student prompt to ask AI for help on a concept for your course, and notice how it responds differently when the prompt includes what the student already tried, and then share your answer in your chat. So I'm going to leave that up there and we'll have everybody give that a try.
So to save you from so much typing, I did dump the prompt into the chat.
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah.
I was helping a teacher with converting a PowerPoint into something that was accessible. And it was an area that was completely outside of my expertise. And so I was doing this a lot, going, did this teacher make a mistake on this? Can you explain this to me? And I think that's a good encouragement for your students is, did your teacher make a mistake on this? Find my errors. And I think that's a healthy thing. If you don't understand, ask.
I
Gemma,
wonder, yeah, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Would it help if I show where that guided learning button is?
Sure.
Okay, do that for a second. So all of these have learning tools in them. So it's either guided learning or something like that. And when you click on that, it gives you, instead of just giving you an answer, it asks you more questions so that you learn it. Like, I'm trying to understand CPR. So something like that. I'm just going to make it simple. And then let's see what it does. So what guided learning is trained to do is give you answers in a different way. Oh, I kept it on Pro. I probably should put it on Fast. I forgot. And also there's also a little button either on the left or right top that's a temporary chat. Those are the ones where it won't remember what you're doing and it won't save it. So if you're asking something more one time or you don't want it to remember. So then it says, let's explore all this stuff. And it's like, please choose one of the starting points. So you can see it's getting you to learn stuff instead of just giving you answers. So that's pretty great. And the same thing, and here's, if I did this in temporary mode, temporary chat, it won't train on what you're doing, and it won't use to personalize. It won't remember it either. It won't show up on the left on most of those. If you're using ChatGPT, it's the same thing. And they also have learning mode here. Let's see, where did it go? Oh, there it is. It's study mode, I think. Study and learn. So you can do the same thing here. The privacy is on the top right on this one for temporary chat.
Thanks for the feedback in the chat. That's nice. It's nice to get the feedback.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
All right, I think we're on to the next slide.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to drop the link into that one. Okay. So these are some student success scenarios and guidance, what you should do, what you should not do. And it really emphasizes You are using AI as the tutor. You are not using AI as the doer. The big thing that's become very apparent to all of us is that the students can now add a little agent on their browser, and it just goes in and takes their quizzes for them in Canvas. And it's like, no, don't do the doer. So when I create scenarios in discussions, particular discussion topics or assignments, I always ask AI, what can I have my students do that they can't do right in AI? They can use AI, but it won't give them the right answer. And it's always talk about your experiences, talk about what you've done. What would you do? What is the critical thinking? They can get insights, but it's not always right. My students, when I teach them and to be swimming instructors, hey, go out and get some swimming drills. It is hilarious what AI will ask them to do. You can't physically do it with your hands and arms. It's hilarious. So yeah, this is a success scenarios, which is really nice.
Nice. All right.
Okay, so more on what students should be doing. And we've got more links to drop in. So tutoring and concepts, okay, exam study partners, great. I'm going to drop some more links in here for you. Helping to communicate. How do I say this in a better way? Okay, whoops. I didn't copy. All right, I'm having trouble multitasking here.
That one actually is huge at workplaces. So sometimes people get in trouble for even the way they write emails or share information out. And so now you're expected to learn how to do that better. And you don't learn that, you know, they just tell you got to go learn it. And so at work, people are using AI to help them learn actually better grammar and writing if they're not up to par with their workplace. It's been an issue with, especially not much in healthcare, like in tech fields where people didn't take as many writing classes. That's an issue. And then, yeah, that last one, problem solving and analysis to check through calculations, although it lies in math too, so you got to be really careful with that.
Okay, so we've got some great handouts. These were in the original folder that we sent you, but these are the individual document links that correlate with what the slides are doing. So we've got the student AI prompts. So copy. I'm going to paste this in.
Okay. Well, Linda's pasting that in. I'll go ahead and do a little chat question. What AI skills, tools, or systems are employers asking your students to have? I'd love to know the answer to that. If you have it.
Have you received feedback from employers or had conversations with employers about their expectations for AI?
I have not, if that's a question you're asking us, but I did something that was kind of unique, is that I went and I asked AI, where is some of the jobs going? And I was blown away with what I found out. For example, I was working on, the health area, of course, and EMT. And think about putting on those goggles, the old AR, VR, you were running into things. And now they've got the sunglasses. Well, imagine a world not too distant from now where our students as first responders are going out and those glasses are scanning and they're looking to make sure it's safe. They're finding things that we may overlook and they're feeding that into the AI and then they can tell us, check here, check there. But we have to be able to that. And so that critical thinking, and again, the more role-playing scenarios that I'm doing with my students, I'm teaching them those critical thinking skills so that they see and then they challenge AI to be accurate and override AI and keep that human in the loop that we need to make sure. Will it come in the future that our AI is going up and somebody that's wearing a personal device will be able to tap in and get the last blood sugar or the last heart rate or some other sensors or biometric data that we haven't even thought that's coming into personal devices yet? And will that feed into the system? Just that near infrared, will it pick things up? But we have to be able to critically think. And that's what I keep coming back to on what's happening. Yes, I know that somebody talked about charting. Yes, my daughter is a nurse. Both of my daughters are nurses, and they're working in areas. And yes, AI, but you have to be very, very specific about having closed systems, and you have to make sure that FERPA is there and HIPAA is there, and it's very specific.
There was a question, a really good one, about how we're doing slides. So we've been doing this for over 2 years, and we found out that it takes a lot of kind of experience to program the back ends of these systems to do what you need it to do. So you can see, just to answer that question, formatting, consistency, branding, colors, and style, and all of that. So those are all instructions that are pretty complete in the back end of Claude. And also we have instructions in Copilot. That's another class. That's a good question, though.
Are your advisory groups feeding you in any information into Claude? Are you in contact with advisory groups asking them about AI? Anybody?
That's a good question.
About Claude specifically? I've never
No,
used
about
it.
using AI within your field. Are your advisory groups asking you to train your students one way or another? Not
Hmm.
yet. I think it's coming, and it's coming pretty fast.
Yeah, I sit on like three different ones where, and then plus a group of CEOs that are all hiring large companies. And I think there's like 200 companies in that group, and we talk about it all the time.
So
yeah, this is a good one. Okay.
okay, Judy, I see your comment. It said human in the loop oversight. Yes, just what we were talking about. Thank you. Data
Perfect.
privacy, ethics. Those are the skills, and they're pretty universal skills, actually. Human in the loop.
So this is we have a health careers AI skills matrix in the packet, and it has these categories in it, and you can look in all of the different programs that you teach in or discipline and see what it says that where AI is used in the field. And then we also have a quick reference guide for that as well. So we have them all in there. I think we included every healthcare related career in there. And here's some of the stuff. So cross-cutting AI skills for health programs. You can see some of these. It's not the stuff that you're talking about, because we also believe that, and I've been in medical for a long time, so these aren't like diagnosis types of stuff. It's like using AI to be, you mentioned charting, interpreting regulations, documenting regulations, reports, those types of things.
So I just dropped the chat into health career AI skills quick reference.
I like this one, looking up HIPAA requirements, OSHA, and stuff that I've been doing the whole time. Data literacy, all of that. So those are good. AI skills for health careers programs. Here's some on the jobs examples. So infection control, which this is something that I did in industry, especially working in a clean room, creating medical products, uh, and something like we trained on constantly, but or even creating signs, doing things for in the job. So we have some of the stuff in medical terminology, uh, HIPAA compliance, and cultural mediation. So using AI to research things, handling of uh, different things in the field. So these are, again, they're not diagnose related. They're just different ways to use AI that people are doing in the industry that's uh, just helping make things more efficient and current.
Yeah, so we teach a lot of HIPAA in all of our healthcare, but actually doing a role playing where you ask AI to provide a situation that challenges their HIPAA knowledge. That's another role playing scenario that you can do.
And we have another thing for you to try for skill building. Find your discipline we have a ready to use prompt handout. And then we have beginning, intermediate, and advanced prompts. So you need to choose which one of those you want to do, find your discipline, run the prompt, iterate it, and then see what you get. So there is a link for this health prompts.
I dropped it in the chat.
Here it is. So yeah, so if you could try that, let me see what the next thing is, and then share out what you found. That'd be great.
So I just put a beginner prompt kind of outline in, and I'll jump in a intermediate. But in that handout, the last link that I put in, there's a lot of them. Okay, so there's the intermediate. And again, you've been logged into one of the AIs, Copilot, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. So these are some additional skill building prompts. We'll give you some time. I'm going to dump in a possible prompt for HIPAA. That's an intermediate prompt.
I can share one while I did the one that for LVN students. This came out really good for vital signs. right. Does anybody have any feedback? I put my little feedback in the chat there.
So I actually dumped the HIPAA compliance one in and it gave me a long feedback, but I'm going to go ahead and dump it into the chat.
Oh, nice.
So this was what Gemini said on HIPAA scenario-based exercises. Gave instruction to students, gave scenarios. These are pretty common to what we do with teaching HIPAA anyway. All right, Taryn, that looks good.
That's great. Also, when you're doing these, because I put everything in Canvas. I mean, I always get those mixed up now. You can ask it to generate slides, infographics, images, tables. And then when you're in Canvas, then you might have to fix, like, you know, it always tells you to fix the rows or headings or whatever if you need to when you put it in there. But you can put any output that you need to put in there. It's pretty great.
I heard they just came out with a new version of Nano Banana.
Yeah, Nano Banana too. It's awesome.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Actually, when in our Gemini EDU Pro, we have it in there now, so hopefully it gets deployed out pretty soon.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and move on. There's also things you can put into your courses that I made one. You may or may not like it. I'm going to show you in my Gemini how I did it, since we're all going to have Gemini here. So you can just use what's called Canvas. See it on the bottom left, and you can ask a question. I said, let's make an EKG app with different rhythms for learning purposes, and it thought through it and made one. I didn't like it. I said, let's add a dynamic visual layout. And then can you recommend more features? So I could keep iterating, and then what it's doing in the background, it's writing all this code that I don't write. So this one is 727 lines of code, and it made this little thing that I can, you know, decide if I like it or not. And it's got a little educator guide. It's got a little assessment module in there. And it's got all that information. And then I have to, of course, as a professor, go through and decide if I like it. It's got some, oh, that's not good. It's got, yeah, this depends what I pick. So it's got all kinds of rhythms in there. And then you have to diagnose what it is and go from there. Let me reboot this over here. So it's something that I teach my students to actually do is use, now that we have vibe coding, things that you think up that are, I'm a visual learner, so that helps you learn things. These are great tools that you might think of something that you don't have that you can make a better way for learning for some students. I also have hearing impaired students in my courses, so I tend to add auditory cues to some of my apps that I make now and different text size and things that they've asked for. So, and this took me like maybe 20 minutes or something like that to think about and come up with this little app. What's great about why I like Gemini, it has a share, like I mentioned before. So I can just get a link and share it with my class and put it in Canvas. What I do in Canvas, just so you know, like I usually take a screenshot and then I put the link above it, and so they'll see what they're going to land on when they go there. Some of these apps, I don't think this one does have embed codes. This one doesn't, that you could also embed in Canvas. Probably have it right one, but I just share the link.
And she has other rhythms in there besides normal sinus rhythm and
Yeah.
asystole.
I have a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And you can tell it like exactly which one to do and reference sites that you like and go pretty deep into it. So yeah, you can just select the rhythm and then there's a scenario. It's something I actually did in industry because we had to detect all these things with these catheters I was making. So they sent me to nursing class, which was a nightmare because I don't understand dosing. And and it's something that I thought, wow, if I could practice stuff at home, I would have learned a little bit faster. All right, so here's a student activity. And I don't know, we might not have time to do it, but it's something that you can do in any of these. All these language learning models, you can create little vibe coding apps. I usually have it create an HTML page like that one was because it's easy to share and it's like one file. So this is a prompt you can do to create based on your discipline a student activity, and then you can have it do whatever you want it to do. One, you can have interactive activities. You can create scenarios, almost anything with it. So we have this slide in there. And if we have time in the end, we'll do it, but I don't think that we probably will.
Hey, Raina, can you explain vibe coding really quick?
Absolutely. I'll just show you. It's easier. Maybe I'll use ChatGPT just to do something different. So here's Gemini, which I really like. Let's see, did it share my screen? Are you seeing my Gemini? I don't see the.
Yes.
Okay. I don't see the little green square. Maybe I'm sharing my whole screen. That's okay. I'll do it. So I'll do it here. You have to put it in that mode. So I'll pick Canvas as to be confusing. It's also called Canvas. And I'll just write a quick one.
I think it's just showing part of your screen.
Yeah, I think so. Let me do that again. There we go. There's the green square. So with the plus sign, you have to find Canvas. What's been the universal word for vibe coding on all of these. And then you can do anything you want, like create a multiple choice quiz on EKG and include diagrams. Well, I don't want to make it too long, but let's just do this just to make it short. So it's going to start because it's in Canvas. It knows it wants to wants to code something. I should have probably said create an HTML page with this on it. That will tell it how I want it to do it. So now it's coding this thing. See if the output looks a little bit different. So I will be able to share this in the class or use these. So it's a little bit different than, so I can download this code or whatever. In Gemini, it looks a little bit different. So I'll show you that if I did it in there. So it's basically coding in the background. Let me do it in here. Canvas. Create an HTML page about art rhythms. I use this just because that's what I worked in, I'm familiar with. So this one, it'll actually show you the coding process. And I have it on Pro. Gosh, I should have taken off that. And then it'll start doing the coding, and then it'll give me an interface to see what the result is, which it's called preview. So it's making the code. I try to do a quick one. Let's see what happens. Students love doing this, by the way. And I taught summer school last summer. This is what the first thing they wanted to learn. So it's going to go through and do the coding. It's called vibe coding because it's doing it. I've gotten to the point where I kind of know what these sections are about. I've taken a lot of coding, but I'm not a coder, like professional coder or anything. So it's going through and making all the code for all these different various rhythms. And at the end, I'll be able to preview this app. Then I can publish and share it. So let it run through because it'll be worth seeing it. Looks like it's getting to the end, just making some icons. And it's done. Okay, so there's my preview. So just made this, and I didn't tell it much. I didn't give it branding or colors or anything. So you can see what it did. There, oh, that's interesting. And rhythm visualizer, it compared it to music. So that's because it knows me. Okay, so it's really quick. You can do almost anything you can dream up. It's very powerful, and it keeps getting better and better. I've really enjoyed what I've been able to do. The new versions of this that came out basically this week are amazing. So Gemini 3. Any questions on that? All right. Moving on, because we're just about done. So summarize, we think that students and people going in the industry need to be comfortable working with AI as a kind of partner or tutor or helper, or know how to use it correctly, effectively, for different things. That I always think of it as less time keystroking on my computer, and AI can do that stuff for me. Just like you saw when I did that vibe coding, I didn't write, 500 lines of code, it did. And so this is just things that are going to be happening in the workforce. So want to take this one, Linda?
Sure. So this is all about, are you starting to put the SLOs into your courses, into your programs, into your institution? I hear a lot about, well, we've got to stop students from cheating, and do we bring AI into Canvas? Canvas has AI capability, but LACCD hasn't turned it on. I don't think El Camino has turned it on. I don't think a lot of the institutions have turned it on, and those who have nightmares that they're sharing at the state level. So, but I think we have to start having this conversation, is where are we putting AI into the program? Let's go next slide, because we're running out of time. Okay, so at the institutional level, we should have a broad AI literacy, keeping the human in the loop, okay? Teaching critical thinking skills at the program, at the course. If you go to one of the AIs, and I did this with Gemini, and I said, okay, I'm teaching this course, but I want to have a AI SLO in my course that matches to the program, that matches to the institution. Can you recommend to me how to map those out? And of course, because my first aid goes with rad tech and EMT and fire tech, and how can you take this one class and give me an SLO that will make sure that I have something for each of those programs? Because this curriculum mapping is really important. Next slide. And so it gave me ideas, and they were phenomenal ideas. And so on this one, Health Programs AI Learning Outcomes Library, I'm just going to dump this into the chat for you. And here's some examples of looking at the program and how we're putting in AI powered tools. I really think the colleges now have to start this before the spring gets done, because we all know that April and May is just chaos in the academic world. And then start to bring up the conversation so that during the summer, people are thinking about this, and maybe assign some professional development activities that are going to be at the end of the semester, maybe during the summer, maybe back to school. Maybe that's some of the professional flex days that we do, that are looking at how are we really integrating AI into our big programs. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here are some ideas. Infusing it into your course, okay, without a major redesign. Maybe creating a module within your current course, and should you have to create courses that are designed around AI. Next course, next slide. Okay, so I'm going to dump some more of these in here. AI curriculum planning workbook, integrating AI into your program. These are handouts that are just kind of general, but actually help you to start thinking about integrating assignments. We've given you examples both in vibe coding, in doing alt tags, and in doing role playing. You guys have come up with some as well. So it's pro AI is going to be where I'm at, and doing it so that it readies the next generation workforce. Brina, I'm going to let you take over so I can start focusing on dumping these in.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, for my syllabi, it's a huge part of me. So I put all my syllabi in a folder in Gemini and just make that a project. And then I can refer to things like, when are all the exams, or when are all the discussions due, or when are all the holidays, and I can produce anything, and my students can actually based on that, ask questions. And so just from doing that alone, it's pretty powerful for teaching. And then, of course, I teach AI and technology, but let's not leave the technology out of this, because I think especially in medical, it's really important. A lot of our devices are now, they have this in there, so you can't just ignore it. Like especially the phones. I teach Android and iPhone technologies and apps and how they're AI integrated. And so this is really important, because when I talk about settings, like one of the things I teach is all the settings on your phone. So when you're using these things, how it's safe, what you're going to allow your phone to do. But now the devices that we're using, our computer and our phone, already have this in there. And so they're on whether you like it or not. So that's another little thing I wanted to point out. So that's the classes I teach all include technology and integrated AI and into the technologies that we have. So some key takeaways: AI is already in the industries in your pathway. Students need some AI skills to be employed. And more, depends, what they're doing, but more in some fields than others. You can start small and build. Focus on using and interpreting AI, not programming it, not having it think for you. And industry partners are a good cue to let you know what they're looking for, as always. Usually for us, it's in the advisory groups. This is going to be coming up in April, creating educational media with AI. So we'll go over how to build things in Canva, how to add interactive materials, the stuff I just talked about with your syllabi, using OpenStax, all kinds of things, building notebooks, so creating media with AI. And here's some stuff, and you have this in your package. We have a discount, 100% discount for Google Gemini guide into next generation AI courses. We have a lot of courses that we write on here in Eduvators, so it's at eduvators.net. You can redeem this with the code LARC1, and
We dropped the links there for you.
Awesome.
But remember, you have to create an Eduvators account. It's free. You don't have to give a credit card. Okay, one more time, I'm going to drop the basic folder. We've given you much more than what's in the folder, but there's the folder. I think, Taryn, you asked for it earlier. Sorry it took me so long. We didn't quite finish the slides, but or I missed it. I'm going to put the links in because I'm prepared to put links in today.
Just see if there's any other general questions or anything about anything.
So I have my students do the 2 free classes on students integrating AI and making it ethically, and how to get started with some of the creative things in AI, because I think those are skills they need to learn. And my students have had very positive feedback on those Eduvators courses. They get the certificates, they go put it on their LinkedIn. I ask them to create a LinkedIn account, get started with a professional social media so that they can get established, they get recognized. It's good for going for apprentices. They get the HIPAA certificates. So we give the digital badges in some of the classes that I teach, and it just gets them that much more into being professional. Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, we're at the end here, but if there's any questions, if not, I'm going to pass it to Judy.
I'll give it a second. If you have a question, you can just go ahead and ask.
Thanks, Erin.
All right. Well, that was great dialogue. And
Thank you all.
thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your expert guidance, and that wealth of resources, which again will be linked in the YouTube video once this is posted in the Lark AI Learning Library. So if you learned something today, please type yes in the chat. Our next session is actually in 30 minutes, which is AI in energy construction and utility careers. And then on March 6th, we will be featuring AI in advanced manufacturing careers. So please do share these professional development opportunities with your fellow colleagues. And please do complete the feedback form that we have also provided in the chat, and refer to the Lark AI Learning Library for upcoming professional development sessions, as well as a host of other professional development resources as well from our industry partners as well as the Chancellor's Office. With that, I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you in a future AI session very soon.
Bye.
Thank you.